Welcome into the Brand Dog Sports YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that I want to see against Rice heading into the Alabama, and also my final score predictions for the game. So let's get right into it. At number 1, I'm very interested to see who starts at running back and how do they play. This year, Texas running backs are going to have to step up in a big way without Bijan and Roschon being in the backfield. I think most Texas fans are probably pretty intrigued to see who gets to start in this game. Is it CJ Baxter or Jonathan Brooks? We all know there's talent in this RB room, with the likes of CJ Baxter, Jonathan Brooks, and Keilan Robinson, who at all times will probably be the fastest player on the field. But who gets to start against Rice? And how do they play against a defense that allowed 5.4 yards a carry? Sark did not officially release a depth chart this week, so I'm led to believe that CJ Baxter and Jonathan Brooks will probably split carries for at least the first half. Hopefully, they play good enough to where they don't have to come in at all in the second half, and we get to see our backups come in and we get some rest. At the end of the day, I just want to see them have an amazing game against this defense. This defense is awful, last in the FBS against the run. So hopefully, they go for probably, I want like 100 yards in the first half at least, combined. And then in the second half, I like to see our backups come in and play pretty good. After this week, I expect a starter to be named heading into Alabama. It's going to be really close between CJ Baxter and Jonathan Brooks from everything I heard coming out of camp. But I think Sark will eventually go with the more experienced Jonathan Brooks, just because that's what he tends to do over the past. So now, let's get to number 2. Number 2 is, what does the interior O-line look like? Coach Flood is always talking about recruiting big humans, and I'm very interested to see how big this O-line looks and if it will be able to match up with SEC defenses like Alabama and the ones we'll have to play next year. Specifically, the interior O-line. We know we're set at tackle with the best tackle in all of college football, in my opinion, in Kelvin Banks, and 5-year returning Christian Jones. But the interior O-line was one of the biggest weaknesses of the team last year, and I'm interested to see if DJ Campbell beats out Hayden Connor, who was last year's starter, for the left guard spot. I've heard a lot of good things about DJ Campbell's development, and I'm interested to see if that gains him the start against Rice. At the end of the day, I just want to see us getting a big push off of the line against an undersized defensive line. The third thing I want to see is our D-line converting sacks. Last year, we ended up with the second most QB pressures in the nation, with 277. We ended up only converting 27 of those into sacks. That's just embarrassing. Although there are some reasons that we couldn't convert those sacks, one being that there are only 2 holding penalties called against opposing O-lines called all season. But the Big 12 hating us isn't changing anytime soon. And in fact, it might get worse this season. And we have to find a way to power through and take down the QB. That starts at the end position. Who is going to start opposite of Barron Sorrell? I personally think it'll be Ethan Burke. He's always had the height coming out of high school, but I'm interested to see how he's filled out since he's always been undersized. I know we have to take everything with a grain of salt against a team that as bad as Rice, but it will be interesting to see if we can bring down the QB, especially on key downs. The fourth thing I want to see is, how does the QB room play? Obviously, we're all interested in seeing how Quinn Ewers looks, but if everything plays out like it should, we should get to see both Arch Manning and Malik Murphy. And I'm even more interested to see who replaces Quinn Fears first. Sark has not decided on who the backup QB is yet. He said that the decision will be made Thursday, but it won't be public until Saturday, the day of the game. Either way, both should get to play, and I'm interested to see Malik Murphy's progress from last year and the pure skill and intelligence Arch brings to the table. Also, I need to see if Quinn has finally got his deep ball straightened out, and if he can connect with Xavier Worthy at least once. I think that'll give him the confidence they need heading into Alabama. The fifth and final thing I want to see against Rice is the wide receiver depth chart. Sark has already named the top 3 wideouts in Xavier Worthy, Jordan Washington, and Georgia transfer A.D. Mitchell. But I'm more interested in seeing is who is that 4th wide receiver that is rotated into that game. And that battle is between freshman Jonte Cook and junior Isaiah Nair, who's coming off an ACL tear. There's been a lot of talk about, Jonte Cook's speed making impressions in camp. But I haven't heard much about Isaiah Neyor coming off his ACL tear, and I don't know if that's a bad or a good thing. But it does look like he's going to get playing time, and I'm interested to see how he looks in the red zone as a red zone threat, and how he looks down the field catching those 50-50 balls. As I've said before, I don't expect this game to be close, given we're facing one of the worst teams in the FBS. But I don't see us covering that 35-point spread, due to the fact that we would probably bring our backups in for the second half. My final score prediction is 45-17. That might be high for an offense like Rice, but JT Daniels is a good enough quarterback to put some points up on our backups. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you next time on Brain Dog Sports.